everybody, my name's Lindy Smith and today on Facebook Live I'm going to be showing you how to make sugar ruffles like on the cake behind me. Now I read recently that sugar ruffles are having a retail moment and apparently they're here to stay. So that's why I thought I would show you how I created the ruffles behind me. Now please, if you're on live, if you're watching live rather, please do say hello, tell me where you come from and obviously ask any questions that you have so that I can try and explain things a little bit more fully to you. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the paste that I use for making the sugar ruffles, and this is modelling paste. There's various ways of making it. I will post a link at the end to let you know, to give the recipe rather, and what I'm going to do is, as I go through the demonstration, show you how to make these ruffles. But as I say, I'm going to talk about the recipe. What you can do is mix sugar paste with flour paste, half and half, and that will give you a paste that you can roll nice and thinly and you can make ruffles with. Gillian says, thank you Lindy, been looking forward to this one. Oh, thank you very much Gillian, it's lovely to have you with me this morning. The way I make paste is to mix some gum into sugar paste. So I take about 8 ounces or 225 grams of sugar paste and I add a teaspoon of gum. Now I prefer to use gum tragacanth, or gum trag as it's known, because it gives a stiffer paste and I prefer using it. But the trouble with gum trag is it's a little bit more expensive. It also takes a while to react. So if you're pushed for time or cost is an issue, then CMC or Tylose, it's got lots of different names, is an alternative gum to use. We've got Vanessa from the Gold Coast, Australia. Hello there, good morning or afternoon or evening, whatever it is with you, Vanessa. I always get my time differences a little bit confused sometimes. So you can also buy modelling paste as well now in tubs. I know when I was teaching in the States, they had great big tubs of modelling paste. So the choice is yours. I tend to make mine because I always have done. It's also the cheaper version when you just take some sugar paste and add gum, but it really is entirely up to you. You've got to find a paste that works for you and works in your climate as well, because climates around the world are completely different. Obviously in the Gold Coast in Australia it's really hot. Here in the UK at the moment it's nice, but it's not too humid, it's not too hot, and it's actually quite ideal cake decorating weather, I believe anyway. And we've got someone from Sweden and Gibraltar. Oh, we've got lots of you this morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm talking about sugar ruffles as I've got on the one behind me. Now that cake is from my Simply Modern Wedding Cake book, which I guess some of you might have. It's one of the first cakes I developed for the book. I was trying to find different ideas, and I knew that ruffles, I do a lot of research when I'm doing the books, and I knew that ruffles were going to be quite popular. Now I started writing the book 2 years ago. So I created this 2 years ago, but ruffles apparently are very in at the moment. You'll see them on a lot of catwalk clothing. So, it's nice to put them on cakes too. What I'm going to do is whiz the camera around and show you the cake, the actual cake, because you can have a really close look at that. But before I do, I'm going to talk about the cutter that I used for creating the ruffles. Now, when I was experimenting, I tried, I think, virtually every single cutter that I have in my box to see which ruffles I like the most. So I've tried petal cutters, I tried like the old-fashioned Garrett frill, I tried all sorts of different ones, different shapes, and I ended up using this one. I'll pick it up, here we go. This one is actually my Mogul arch cutter. Can you see that? If I hold it, there we go, if I hold it up that way, you can see it better. So it's was designed for an Indian cake from my Cakes to Inspire and Desire book, for those of you that have got it. And I was inspired by the, obviously, Mogul arches that I'd seen in India many years ago. And my sister used to live there. But I know from my students that they've used them to make flowers, they've used them to make all sorts of things. So I tried to make them, make ruffles with them. And this is what I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So I'm going to show you the cake first, but a few more hellos. Vanessa says very humid as well. Good evening. And Patricia says good morning from Ireland. Hello there. Lovely that you're with me today. So I'm going to flip the cake now. That's a cake. I'm going to flip the camera and show the cake in close up so you get a more idea of the 3D effect of these ruffles. So just bear with me while I flip the camera. Right, here we go. So here, I still have this cake. Some of the cakes from the book I haven't lasted, but this one has, and I'm thrilled because I just adored making these ruffles. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but actually I think it was about 8 different colours. I started with the dark pink and did about 2 rows of each colour and gradually changed it to the lighter sort of peachy colour at the top. When I write my books, I do a lot of research into what colour trends are going to be around for when I publish. Now, obviously this book was published earlier this year, so the colour trend that I was picking up with these sort of peachy and pink colours, show the rest of the cake, go up, that's a little sweetheart, it's called Sweetheart Stripes, this one. And then up at the top we've got the, it reminds me of a, you know, circus tent. And then we've got the polka dots on the top, and there is a little pom-pom that goes on the top of that, but I'm not quite sure where I've put it at the moment. If you're going to Cake International at the NEC, I will bring the cake with me and I'll have found the topper by then. So there we are, going back to the ruffles, and if I go right in, hopefully you can see there's lots of them. And what I love about using the cutter that I'm using is the little points. Can you see those little points? And that's because it's the top of the Mogul arch. I'm just going to whiz it round so you can have a closer look. There we go. Right, so I'm going to pop the camera over here on my work surface, and I've got some I've made earlier, and there's the cutter, and I've got some paste I've already rolled out. Now, when I'm rolling out, I use spacers. Let me just move the plastic off there. It's just to stop it drying out. I've got these little 1mm spacers, and that means that all my paste is going to be the same thickness. And I love the fact that they're bright orange because it means that I don't lose them. What I often find, if things are the same colour as my work surface, I just lose them. I'm a bit, things go everywhere. I'm not the most tidiest of workers, so if they're bright orange, I can definitely see them. Okay, bringing the cutter in now, and what I'm going to do is just place it on there. I'm going to press down nice and firmly and cut out. Oops, let me get the angle right. There we go. And this one. Now, you can obviously roll out a very big piece of paste because you're going to need lots of these. I'm just doing a little demo here, so I only need a few. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is to take the cutting wheel, which is this wonderful tool, and I'm just going to cut the bottom because it's an open-ended arch, this, as you can see. So I just need to cut those bits out. Sharon says hello, and Christina from the Philippines says hello too. Hello everybody, it's lovely that you can join me. If you have any questions about making frills or experiences of your own, please do share them with everybody. Okay, I'm just going to take the excess paste away. And that's going to leave us with 4 different shapes. It doesn't matter on the depth here. You'll see what happens with the different ones in a moment. The thicker ones give you a thicker stem, the thinner ones give you a thinner stem. So what I'm going to do is bring in one of these boards. Now this is just a foam board, it's the ones that we all use for sugar flowers. And I'm going to place the shapes onto this board, like so. I'm trying to keep it in front of the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Whoops, let's pick this last one up. There we are. So we've got the shapes there. Now the next tool I'm going to use is my ball tool, which is this one here. And for those of you that make sugar flowers, you'll be very familiar with this technique because what it is, I'm going to frill each of the edges. Now the technique here is to put the ball tool halfway on, I can maybe show you here, yeah, half on the paste and half on the mat. And then you just go backwards and forwards. Oh, it's a bit, I was a bit too over-eager there. There we go. Let me just frilling the paste backwards and forwards, like so. Okay, you can keep going, and obviously not too hard like I did there, because it goes all the way through, which is not what you want. But you want to frill each of these shapes. Now, I think this sort of thing is very therapeutic. It's something where you can sort of put the music on. Okay, hopefully I'm back again. Yeah. And just enjoy the process, because obviously you've got to make quite a lot of these to cover the bottom tier of a cake. I've also made them on cookies. I've used them as little frills on dress cookies. That's really effective. I've made little flower pom-poms. I've put them in the centre of heart cookies. I've done all sorts of things with these frills. They're very versatile. You don't have to use them on a cake. You can do them on much smaller things too. Cupcakes as well. The choice is yours, really. Joshua says, hi from Martha's Cakes in Saudi Arabia. We're definitely very global today. Okay, to make the frill, what we're going to do is pick this up, and then you want to pleat it like so. You can see what I'm doing. Yep, and then what I do is just roll it between my fingers, and that just makes everything stick together, and that gives you that little frill. So I'll do the rest of them. Now, obviously, they all turn out slightly differently, and that is, I think, part of the beauty of it. But each one, because I've used the Mogul arch, has this wonderful point. Can you see that point here? That's the point I'm talking about. And I just love that. I love the texture that it gives. Okay, that's that one. And the next one. Like so. Oops, is the camera focusing? Just squeeze it, and then a bit more of a squeeze, and then roll, like so. And then if I actually place these down, like that, you'll see what's happening. And last one, this is the one that I went a little bit too hard on, but actually that's fine, because there's so many there on the cake that you won't actually notice that. You can hide that bit. I think the first thing we learn as cake decorators is how to hide our mistakes. So there we go. And then what you do for the next layer, I'll bring some more in. I would stick those on the board of my cake, and then the next layer would come in here, and then we'd start building up. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I do 2 layers in one colour, then change colour, and then make the next layer, change colour, make the next layer, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to flip the camera back to me now, and so do ask me any questions that you might have. Are we going? We are going. Here we go. That's back to me now. So a few more hellos. We've got Angela saying hi from Kentucky. And she said, that's a great tip. Good morning, North Carolina. South Africa as well, Sean, hello. Nice that you could join me. I hope the little tip helped. Pardon me. I'd encourage you, though, to experiment with the cutters that you have in your box. Some of you may actually have this cutter. It's very versatile. I know we've sold lots over the years. So, you know, have a go with that one. But do see what's in your box as well. I'm going to flip over and show you the cake again for those of you that have joined me, and then answer your questions. Right, here we go. I had to cough, excuse me. We've got, Donna says, how do you stick them to the cake? I just use some boiled water. I put the water on the board to start with and start building them, and then I just use water to pile them on top of each other. And then if I just go on top, you'll see that the ones on the outside edge are pointing out. Then I gradually bring them up to the top and fill in all the spaces. So they all stick to each other. Katie says hello from Germany. Hi there. Have we got any more questions? This is only meant to be a quick Facebook Live today because I'm off to Scotland for a week's teaching and demonstrating tour. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I need to go and get packing. I've got an awful lot of things to fit in my suitcase. I will, of course, jump on afterwards answer any of your questions, and I'll post links to the modelling page as well, where I've got a recipe for you. And I will see you next time, probably in a couple of weeks now, because as I say, I'm away next week, but I'll hop on in a couple of weeks' time. So if you've got any requests, I've got quite a few lined up now. People have been asking me for specific topics they want me to talk about. But if you've got anything, please do let me know. And Christina says, have a safe trip. Thank you very much. And Daniela says, thank you. Lovely, thanks. See you in a couple of weeks. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.